We'll see what's going on. Hopefully it'll do its thing. It's been a month since I think we streamed properly.
Oh.
I think this is working. Yes. Go live. And then Sheriff the love. If it'll do its thing anytime soon. Yep. Oh, I'm on the wrong page, Matt. You dingus. You absolute douche.
You're nailing this tonight, dude.
Yep, I'm nailing it. There we go. There we go. Sure. Okay. That's done. And that is done. Alright. Okay, that's done. Oh yeah, I need to do my chat thing. Badunk. We'll do that out of there. Oh, you're uncovering you with things. And we do this every time, and Matt forgets which one to do. This one. Let's do this one. Hopefully that'll work. Chat window may pop up. Oh, we've got an error here. What does that mean? Let's try this. Alright, I think that's working now. It's only showing me 2 of the thing out of the 3, but I can do that and that. Alright. Alright, okay. Hi everybody, Matt Geary for the Geek Pride cast on this Thursday evening. Joining me are 2 of my most wonderful geeks. First off, we have Quizmaster John Joe Cosgrove.
Good evening, everyone.
And second up, we have the Australian version of X-23, Laura Benson.
Sup, everyone. There is an explanation for that, don't worry.
Go on then, explain. So we were talking about this obviously before we came on air.
So it's not a sob story. I had a broken back, so my doctor the other day said, so we want to put some titanium screws in your back. And to stop myself from screaming in terror at the very concept of it, I've started mentally being replacing the word titanium with adamantium and being I'm this much closer to being Wolverine.
Yeah.
and then obviously the guys were oh, well, you'd be an Australian X-23, which would be just so much angrier and so much willing to stab people. Hugh Jackman, he's a gift, but he's a crap Australian. He's too nice. He's way too nice.
Yeah, it's really true. I was listening to Jim Jeffries the other day, and he's proper what you think of an Australian. Lewd, crude, and swearing a lot.
The voice of my people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's saying that I always kind of get into trouble a bit here in the UK, especially meeting new people or at conventions, because they meet you and they're thinking, oh, you're going to be some polite thing that we've seen on Neighbours, and I'm oh, buddy, oh, you've been lied to. This is not going to end well.
Oh man, I just one of the first Australians I met was a guy called Chad, and he was the husband of my housemate's sister, and he came over to visit in Manchester, and he was super mellow, and he was all he was super impressed by the fact that alcohol over here was cheap, and I was whoa, what, cheap? I know Manchester's cheaper than sort of down south, but I didn't think it was cheap. But apparently alcohol's quite expensive down under.
Not only that, it's so much easier for you guys to get it. If we want to buy alcohol, we have to go to a separate alcohol shop, which is called a bottle-o, because of course it is. But in the true Australian tradition, we actually have drive-through bottle-os.
Right.
Because what's the worst that could possibly happen? So I remember when I first got here and I walked into like a Tesco, I was like, is there a fucking bungalow inside the Tesco? Holy shit!
Why do you have like weird names for everything? Why are things got weird names?
I think we're just really lazy. I actually think this, they did a study and found that the Australian accent is just what happens when you get a bunch of drunk Brits, drunk Brits who are really tired.
Right.
Because obviously the heat was tiring them out, and that's where the accent developed. And then just if a service station, we'll just call it Servo.
Well,
South Soon and Arvo.
Yeah.
We're not imaginative people.
Well, it's kind of like in Northern Ireland, you sort of knock out like letters and words and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, and we had a discussion about this. One of my old colleagues, girl called Laura Robinson, who used to be, when I was a fraud manager in Aviva many years back, she was like teaching me how to do the job and stuff. And we had a bit of not a falling out, but a disagreement about how a certain thing was said. Now, in Northern Ireland, we sort of kind of, like I said, you knock out words and you knock out letters and things. And she turned around to me and said, "Oh, I've got a friend from Ireland. He's in Newtown Butler." And I was like, "What, Newton Butler?" And she's like, "No, it's Newtown Butler." I said, "Yeah, it's Newton Butler." And she's like, "No, it's spelt Newtown Butler." And I said, "Yeah, but it's called Newton Butler, as in Newton Abbey and Newton Ards, as in we don't pronounce the whole thing." She wouldn't accept it. She just would not accept it. And it's like me sending her YouTube videos of Northern Irish people calling it Newton Butler and stuff, and she just wasn't having it in any way, shape, or form. But yeah, language is a weird thing. Apparently, apparently the Scousers got theirs from like the Irish people with colds or something along the lines. And you can actually hear in certain instances in the American accent like different sort of colloquialisms from the British Isles, you know, obviously twisted quite a lot, but there's certain areas where you can kind of see maybe where it's come from.
Well, they get the American accent has a bunch of Irish influence because obviously there were so many Irish immigrants at one point in their history. And I have myself a tendency to roll my R's, much like the Irish do. So everywhere on the planet, bar America, people go, "Oh, you're American, right?" when they hear my accent. Even in Australia. Yeah. Even in Australia.
So you call Australia instead of Australia?
Yeah, Australia. Sometimes Aussie. Sometimes the Hell Land. We should... I don't know what was wrong with the British. They turned up and they're like, "Right, this place is dead. It's hot, and everything here wants to kill us. Yeah, let's colonize this shit."
Well, it was a penal colony originally, wasn't it? So it's like, right, so it's just like, this is like the worst place in the world. Though it's not, though, because it's a very beautiful country, isn't it? So it's just like...
But still, it was a lot of effort to go to when you probably could have just killed them.
I suppose they just kind of went, "You're going to go as far away from us as possible. All the way over there." Yeah.
And then in the end, like, you know, a couple hundred years later, the Australians are the ones laughing, being like, "Check out our beaches, bitches."
Yeah, pretty much. It's like,
when I first got here, people were like, "Oh, you've got to go to Blackpool, the Blackpool beach." And I was like, that's not a beach.
Yeah, it's grim. It's like places like that, I just, like, Benidorm and Blackpool are just sort of grim.
I've been twice, and it was for a convention, Star Fury Ultimate, which, thank God, they've been, for whatever reason, the next Ultimate to be held in Birmingham, and I'm so happy, because I never want to go back to Birmingham again, to Blackpool again. It's just like, I'm having, like, PTSD flashbacks from it, but,
yeah, it's like,
it was disgusting. The place was just a shithole.
It is.
And I had a German friend I made at the Star Trek convention contact me the other day, and he said there's a Star Trek exhibition there, and he wanted to know what it was like. And I'm like, "Well, I didn't go, but I can tell you Blackpool's a shithole." And he's like, "I don't know this word. Explain it to me." And I'm thinking, how can I best simply put how awful Blackpool is and why no one actually wants to go there?
I don't know, just go Scheiße, whatever the word for German is, you know?
Cheap, nasty.
Yeah.
I once saw a guy get into a punch-up with a lamppost.
Yeah, it's like I've over the years, like we've played a fair few gigs there. There's the Blackpool Comic Con, which we'll not talk about. Less said about that. And then obviously, I've gone a few times with my girlfriend and her kids, and it is grim. But it's like I've been to Benidorm, and I thought I was going to hate it, and it is grim. But it's in like a weird sort of way. It's slightly endearing in a it's shithole, but it has its own little charm or something.
It knows it's shit.
Yeah, it embraces how tacky it is. You know, it just sort of like super shit. But yeah.
When I first went there, my taxi driver, when he found out I was traveling alone, was so worried about me that he drove the taxi up to the front of the hotel. The hotel wasn't on a street. He drove into a square to literally drive me to the front door and wouldn't leave until I was safely inside with the door locked behind me. Then the next taxi driver who picked me up to take me to the convention, as we went down the kind of, I know, boulevard, Mainway Drive, whatever, he was pointing out hotels as we passed, being like, roof fell in, food poisoning, bankrupt, old. And I was like, Jesus Christ, I've been here 5 minutes, and I would really like to leave straight away, please.
On a sort of slightly side note, but still about Blackpool, when we were at the Blackpool Comic Con, they had this dinner thing beforehand, the night before, and obviously, you know, it was good in that there was a lot of famous people there, sort of like, you know, loads of people, and I got informed that Michael Madsen rocked up. Now, he rocked up late, but the reason he was late was because as soon as he got off the plane, he demanded alcohol and some brass. So basically, he wanted alcohol and a prostitute in Blackpool, and it was just like, wow, you're going to get some classy birds in Blackpool.
That's not the only thing he's about to get, basically.
Yeah. But yeah.
Oh well, he's definitely about to get an STD. That's for sure.
If he ain't already,
I don't think he cares. I don't think he gives a fuck. To be honest, I think
no. But the thing is, I don't really watch it, but he was in Big Brother a few years ago, and there's some clips of it, and you can see he's literally just gone in there because he's been told, right, we're going to pay you what £200,000 to appear on the show for a few weeks. He's like, yeah, I'm not doing any movies, nothing's coming. Fuck it, I'll do it. It's like, okay.
Yeah, he literally does nothing. If Tarantino didn't throw him a bone now and again, he just probably wouldn't do anything.
He hasn't been in anything major for a while. He's kind of gone the way of like Seagal or Van Damme. They just get these real tacky, shitty movies where like someone like
TV
with a film. It's like, you know, yeah, we've got this budget, we're going to pay you whatever. Yeah, when's the film coming out? We haven't actually got a studio to release it yet. We haven't got that far. Okay, what's your budget for it? Please stop asking questions. You might not like the answer. And when you look at some of these films, I watched this real tacky one that I think it was a Time Cop ripoff, and it had Dolph Lundgren in it, and my God, this is supposed to be like a 2015, 2016 film. The special effects on it actually make Flash Gordon look like it was the Avengers. It's just so bad.
Speaking of Monday special effects that are genuinely so bad, you actually have to like look at when this came out. So I've been watching this show called the Outpost, which I mentioned a couple of podcasts back that I was about to start. And I'd like to give an official bit of review on it and say it might be the worst thing I've ever watched. It is. If you were to make a bingo card of fantasy tropes or a drinking game out of it, this would kill you. This would fucking kill you. The main character, her name is Talon. Her family, who are super secret rare elves with black blood and are the chosen prophecy people, get murdered by a group of 7 men, and she has to go on a quest to avenge her family. And there's a hot knight who's immediately down to fuck, but he has a fiance, and she's also down to fuck, but he's like, nah, can't do it. New hot chicks in town. And it's the worst acting I've ever seen, and the CGI is so fucking bad. Oh, I've been live tweeting it because I just can't keep in the rage of every single episode that happens, everything that happens. This chick got stabbed in the gut, and they were like, oh, we stitched it up. And they used this line, and I still can't get over it. So he goes, oh, I'm a blacksmith, not a seamstress, so you'll have to live with what I've given you.
I've got to say that The Outpost is from the CW, and personal experience, the CW can make some good shows, and I absolutely love the superhero shows, and iZombie. This is what I'm saying. This is.
What's even worse is this is from Dean Devlin of Stargate. This is produced by Stargate people.
But Stargate did have a bit of a bad turn after a short while.
I mean, Universe was bad. We've got 10 seasons of great SG-1. We have, what was it, 4 or 5 of Atlantis, which went up and down, but still, pretty solid as a show. Universe, I just pretend didn't exist. But then I believe Dean Devlin then moved on to Leverage, which again, 5 seasons of a fantastic show. Honestly, watch an episode of this, just so you can realize how it got to air. That's what I just don't get. All of the acting is genuinely so bad. There's this one character, I feel bile rising up whenever he speaks. Not because he, his name is the Worm, because of course. And, by the way, that they have zombies in the show called Plaguelings, because again, of course. And she has to, Talon is the greatest fighter to ever exist, because, of course. And there's no actual choreography. She just kind of gets saved by a dude every 30 seconds. And they're like, oh, she's so amazing, though.
Daniel DeLargy says on Facebook, can't wait for the plot twist when it turns out that it's taking place in a timeline that Barry Allen messed up.
Oh my god, right. Like, I've actually said that I would take off at least 100 sins if instead of it being a love triangle, if she turns around and bangs both of them. I would be like, you know what? Fair play. Because it's always a love triangle. 2 hot women, 1 hot guy. And he's like, who do I choose? This rebellious hot chick or this rich hot chick? Oh, life is so hard. What will my dick do?
Basically, that is the CW.
Yeah. So I'm like, you know what? If you all have a threesome, I will, you know what? I will take 100 sins off. I mean,
I reckon that'll probably be on like something a bit more extreme, like Skinamax or Television X, if that happened.
This reminds me, there's a film, and it's got one of the Baldwin brothers in it, and it's about a threesome. And it's like, I just got I think it's like
bisexual characters, or more and more these times. So if she basically turned around and went, honestly, I don't want to break up your relationship, but you're both obviously down to fuck. Let's just get this out of our systems. I'd take points off because I'd be like, at least that's at least subversive.
I'll Chasing Amy.
Just get in there, girl.
Chasing Amy's actually quite good.
Chasing Amy's there's no Kevin Smith film that I don't like.
That film is quite mad. It's like the idea that this girl apparently is a lesbian, and also it's like, actually no, I fancy these 2 guys. Okay.
I believe that's called being bisexual.
Yeah. Well, in the film, she is noted as being lesbian at first. But then again, this is a Kevin Smith film. Kevin Smith likes to push boundaries, and
And he likes to mirror real life. Like in my job, where my lesbian chef recently sent nude photos to my male chef, so that was a thing I had to deal with.
Amazing. My guitar is called Suzanne after Suzanne in the Jay and Silent Bob saga. Basically, Suzanne, doo-doo-doo, you're all that I wanted in a girl. Yeah, that's why my guitar is called Suzanne. Yeah, well, there you go. Okay, so we haven't really talked in a while. Ant-Man and Wasp I went to see yesterday.
Oh, I still haven't seen it.
Alright, we'll try and do it spoiler-free as possible, but I've got to say, I've got to say it really carefully. Probably the least best film. It's probably on my lowest out of all the superhero ones.
Really?
But still, But I've got to defend it. I'm going to defend it, right? Like, I put it low.
It's shit, but I'm going to defend it.
No, this is the thing. It's not shit. I'd still rate it a solid 8 out of 10.
Oh, it's still better than anything
brilliant.
DC can do.
Yeah, and it is just so fun. It's just silly. It's a lot of what you get from the first film as well. So you got like the size humour in particular is still spot on and still quite humorous. The interactions that the villain is a very hard one for me to talk about because it's not conventional.
She's the reason I want to see the movie, because that actress is also heading up the sci-fi show Killjoys.
She's in Black Mirror as well, and she's in.
She's phenomenal.
She's in Ready Player One as well. She's very good. Yeah.
She's a phenomenal actress. She was actually in God, I feel so bad. I can't remember what it's fucking called now. The start of the new Star Wars series. What the hell was that? Force Awakens. Force Awakens. She was in Force Awakens as random tech who got blown up.
First Order Officer number 1.
Yeah, there you go. I was looking at her being like, there's my bitch! She's dead!
Do you know that there's people out there, 1 minute, let me just say, good night to my dear lady. Good night, babe. Kiss, kiss, kiss. There's actually people out there who collect signatures from like unknown actors in Star Wars films, like the guy called Mark Cox, who like one of the first interviews, and I've said this before, like one of the first interviews like Geek Pride ever did, like years and years ago. A guy called Mark Cox, and he and a bunch of his mates went over to Tunisia, and they rebuilt Lars' homestead in Tunisia, so like basically Luke's home. They basically rebuilt the whole thing, and they did. I've got sand from Lars' homestead up there from like Tunisia and stuff, and all the different like Jawa rock and things like that. And I did an interview with him. He goes around conventions and he has like posters from all the the main trilogy films, and he gets everybody to sign it, and that includes sort of like 50th Stormtrooper on the right who, you know, didn't. And he will literally go in and he has like thousands and thousands of signatures from like, you know, X-Wing fighter who blew up, or X-Wing fighter in sort of briefing room sitting on the right, and things like that. And it's mad, you know. They love it. They will get everybody to collect them all.
It's when you see any of them.
I can believe it just for the fact that Showmasters Collectomania exists, because you see some people that they announce as guests, you're like, the fuck are you?
Yeah. Well, it's plus that they do like a bit of cash down there, don't they?
Yeah.
I think there was about 30 odd, not this year, last year at LFCC, there was about 30 Star Wars people, and when you look at how diverse they were, how obscure, and it was like, I looked some of them up, it's like, you can still find, like, on their special wikis, there's still about, like, 800 or 900 word essay about each of them. It's like, yeah, all in all, this character appeared in the background in the Mos Eisley diner. Okay, so, yeah. Okay. It goes into all this history. It goes, this character was also featured in 2 panels of a Star Wars Legacy comic site. Okay, so why am I going to care about this? Why am I going to...
I think it's people do.
Yeah, but I watched that film, Elstree 76, and it had had like a lot of the extras from Star Wars in that, and it's quite fascinating to a certain degree, because as much as you may like joke, you may go, oh, you know, because he was like X-Wing pilot number 4, or it was a guy that got blown up near the beginning. You got to think these are the guys who saw this film firsthand as well. These are the guys who know the background of it, and even though they may not be the stars, they may not be the people that you hear about every day, these were the guys that were on set all the time. They were the ones, right, yeah, you're going to be the background artist for this scene for the whole day. You're going to be... So they're taking it all in. When you've got like your main stars, when you've got Alec Guinness, when you've got Mark Hamill, you've got Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, they're not on set the whole day. They're on when they're doing their scenes, and then they're going back to their trailers, or they're going back to their hotels, or, you know, Carrie Fisher's banging Harrison Ford, or whatever was happening during the first film. But all these background artists, they're the ones that are there all the time. You know, that when they do all their shots, when they do like the establishing shots, you've not got your main stars there, you've got the background people, and, you know, it kind of gives you that little bit of history when you watch that film, because you know that they were there from beginning to end. They had all the hours, and just absolutely fascinating film, and one of my favourite documentaries.
I was to be fair, the only Stormtrooper I think that I'd actually want the autograph of is the dude who like whacked his head
Yeah,
in the original
dead now.
series.
He's dead now. He died.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like if I was in, that's what you get him to sign as well, like a screenshot of his head flying backwards as well, just being like, thank you.
It's like a Stormtrooper helmet with a dent in it.
Yeah, exactly, something like that.
This is a bit of a random sort of change. We went from Ant-Man and Wasp to guy banging his head in Star Wars.
Yeah, but
Well,
anyway, yes.
we did have the same actress kind of being and all that. There is a thin, very thin thread.
Okay.
But anyway, back to that actress, because I'm not done talking about how amazing she is. No, seriously. I do have to say that watch Killjoys, because she is a phenomenal actress. So I was kind of on the, about seeing Ant-Man and Wasp, because I found the first one quite dull.
Really?
But I found
Mm-hmm.
I love the first one.
My opinion on the first one is that I believe it was actually written before the first Iron Man. It was meant to be in Phase 1. And so it played like it played like a Phase 1 movie now that we're way past that. So it didn't feel like it was at the same level that we're now up to, and it felt like, the plot was essentially Iron Man. So I felt it was okay, and I loved some of the parts from it, but I wasn't like, this is my all-time favorite Marvel movie. It's not even in my top 10. So I was like, on seeing it. But then, this actress is the villain, and I'm like, you know what? I'll watch anything she's in, even if she's just like side character, not even named. She was in Lara Croft. I watched the new Lara Croft the other day. She was Lara Croft's best friend that was never spoken to again and left to deal with an apartment and pay rent by herself while Lara Croft went off to be a millionaire.
Well, what was it? The second Ant-Man film, I'll go back to the first Ant-Man film. I thought was just blew me away because it was just something different. It wasn't trying to be as big as Iron Man. It wasn't trying to be Avengers. It was trying to stand on its own 2 feet, and it did it brilliantly for me. And then Ant-Man and the Wasp, I can't say it's better than the first Ant-Man film, but I can't say it's worse either. It's still funny. It still does some quite good special effects, and
I think I prefer. I think I preferred it to the first one, to be honest.
I don't know. That's what I mean. I can't say I prefer or not prefer. It's still quite an equal level. But the thing is, the mix of new characters come into it. This is one of the only MCU films where I've watched the film. I go, right, I don't actually hate any of the characters. Every character was fun. Even what's his name? Walton Goggins. I thought he was brilliant in that film. I thought he was so funny.
Do you know what I think? The thing I will take away from Ant-Man 1 that I think we were all robbed of, at the beginning of Infinity War, we should have had that guy who does the amazing recaps in Ant-Man give us a 10-year recap.
Yes, that was amazing.
That was good.
So good. I love that bit.
It would be like a half-hour bit, but it would be like when they used to do back in Phase 1, when they did those kind of short little movie, 15-minute, like Coulson beating up people in the service station, Agent Carter, stuff like that. If they'd done like one of those as the kind of lead into it, like what you've missed in the last 10 years, and they got all the actors to play along and do the kind of ridiculous over the top, honestly, that would have broken the internet. Fuck this Ralph thing.
Yeah, it was amazing. Like it's just where he's like, he gets a truth serum, and like, it's not truth serum, and then he gets a truth serum, and he's talking about how he met Scott in jail and stuff. And he's got this like really long sort of like hair and stuff. Amazing.
Hey, hey man, I heard that you weren't feeling well. Yeah, my girl's just left me, but hey, I'm feeling down, but I'm sure I'll be fine. Hey man, I'll tell you what, you'll be fine, because you know what? You got me as a friend for life. We'll be good.
Yeah.
It's just like, but then he starts talking about. It goes like, I want you to tell me where Scott is. And he goes, hey man, you put the quarter in him. You need to let it play out. He's like, jukebox. And he's like, oh yeah, that jukebox. Yeah, because I remember there was this place in Los Angeles that we used to go to.
Morrissey.
And the woman they played Morrissey records. It's like, but I tell you what though, I think I came out of that, and I am quite a bit of a Morrissey fan, so I did come out of that. I was like, right, as I'm getting in the car, it's like, oh, Joe, what? I'm going to put some Morrissey on there.
I hate Morrissey so much. What a knobhead he is.
Well, a couple of weeks ago, he cancelled his whole UK tour, didn't he? Over I can't remember exactly, but it's him trying to be political. And I tell you what, just have a read of his Facebook every now and again. the shit he puts on there is just so funny. It makes no sense what he talks about, but you know,
I just can't understand, man. It just doesn't sort of, doesn't register with me. I can't understand. I can't like music for people who are assholes. It just, it doesn't matter how good their music is. If you're an asshole, and I know you're an asshole, then it's just like, nah, I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah, it's like anyone who's still like, oh, Chris Brown's got a new song out, and I'm like, no, hard pass. Like, but it's really good. Don't care.
Yeah.
Do not give one flying fuck. Oh, it wasn't that bad. Read the transcript. Just read the police transcript of exactly what he did, and then come and tell me, oh, but he's got some sweet moves.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of feel that way now when a Kevin Spacey film comes on. It's like, I just don't feel I can watch them anymore. And the horrible thing is, some of my favourite films, like Baby Driver, Usual Suspects, it's like, I just can't bring myself to watch them anymore.
Yeah,
it's so sad that one person's ruined it.
It was kind of, it was weird for me. I was at the Star Trek Destination convention in Dortmund earlier this year, and I was lucky enough to kind of have a VIP ticket, which is like, they treat you like royalty. It's kind of mad. And they had meet and greets, and none of the meet and greets were any of the actors I really cared about, like, the guy who played Klingon in 4 of the different series. I was like, whatever. But the room they were having them in was also the room where they put, like, free food. So I didn't pay attention to when the meet and greets were on. And I got to the door thinking I'm going to get some food. And the coordinator says, oh, we've put breakfast food in there. And I just screamed out, bitch wants a croissant! Kicked open the door. It's the middle of a fucking meet and greet. All the actors are in there. They all just turn to me slowly. I'm thinking, oh, good, I'm going to get kicked out of the convention. And they just kind of looked at me and went, please come sit down. And I realized it was because everyone in the room was too nervous to speak to them. Right. And they looked at me, they thought, oh, hopefully she's like bitchy or brash enough that she's going to kind of drive conversation. And somehow, weirdly, Kevin Spacey came up. And it ended up turning into an argument because, they said oh, that's right. They asked me who all the Discovery cast was, and I was pointing them all out, and then I get to Anthony Rapp, and he said, oh, why do I know that name? I said, oh, he's kind of the whistleblower on the whole Kevin Spacey thing. And all of a sudden, this one random German guy was like, I don't think it's fair. His whole career shouldn't be ruined because of this guy. And then, oh, God, it descended into chaos. And then eventually the actors got it under control, and they're like, let's just say, we always knew. We won't say any more, but we always knew. And there was just like awkward silence in the room for a moment before they went back to, I don't know, discussing the fact that he had been in a lot of Star Trek. I just had a really great croissant, so I was pretty thrilled. That was genuinely my main concern there. But it was just kind of funny how like a whole bunch of people were like dead silent, like, oh, we've paid this amount of money to see these people and talk to them and sit in a room with them. We're not going to say anything. Oh, wait, Kevin Spacey's come up? Fuck that guy. No, that guy's the best. Like,
yeah, when you get nerds who are like super enthusiastic about something, it does get very visceral very quickly.
Yeah, it's weird because they were at the convention for the thing you'd think they would be super enthusiastic for, the Star Trek convention, and they were like mute silence. But oh no, Kevin Spacey, we've got opinions on that.
Yeah, yes.
I was gonna say, speaking of conventions, we have. I don't think I've been on a podcast since went to LFCC, and you had your one in Manchester as well.
Oh yeah, how was LFCC?
Joe, I actually did enjoy it this year. The only problem I had was that there was too many fucking photo opportunities all around the place, and that like the people you wanted to go and see, they're like, no, he's coming back here now. He's got a photo shoot, and then you go back there now. Oh, he's only got half hour to his next photo shoot. For fuck's sake, how many? It's like
the guest
they
list
definitely
was
overset
monstrous, wasn't it?
How busy was it? How busy was it?
I tell you what, if there had been one more person in there, people would have started squeezing through the gaps in the walls. It was crammed.
I cannot handle that, man. It really fucks me off.
But
really.
I will say, to the defence of the volunteers at LFCC, it was probably one of the more organised years. It actually felt like it ran well, and
in my opinion, Showmasters has some of the best volunteers around. They're really quite passionate people, and they tend to follow the convention from location to location. So they've got experience under their belts, where a lot of conventions just kind of take once-off volunteers here and there. So you get people who've never had a speck of power before being told that they've got the power to do like some small consequential thing, and next thing you know, you've got a volunteer screaming at someone, breaking someone's prop, and then things kick off. You don't really see that Showmasters, and I think that's
no, but this
they're
is
smart,
what I mean.
and they hang on to their volunteers.
Now the last few years has gotten a bit better. But one of my favourite moments was waiting for a Meatloaf's autograph, because I was getting that from my dad, and
did you go? His name is Robert Paulson.
I really wanted to come up with something very witty, but for how long I was waiting, it really didn't happen that way. No, for us, it was quite close to, we hand over money, you pick up your picture you want to have autographed. I was getting to that point, and the woman just went, right, okay, we've got a bit of a problem. He is going for a talk in about 30 minutes' time. So what we're having to do, we're just seeing how we're going to go with the lines. So this woman literally just stopped the line from that point. The people that had gone past, paid their money, they were still going forward, and the line's just going further. I thought, right, why ain't anyone being moved? Why aren't we getting? She's come over, she's going, right, okay, well, we've been told he's got 25 minutes. I'll let you know just a moment what's happening with it. We'll start moving people, because we don't want the queue to be built. Because he was having a good chat with everyone. He was being quite, and that's what I like. I like if they actually show their appreciation for the fans. And I was like, okay, fair enough. It got to the point, about another 10, 15 minutes went by, and the woman was like, right, okay, we're going to start sending 5 people through at a time. If you don't get seen, he will be back at 6 o'clock this evening to do some more sign-ins. And as she's talking, like, the queue's gone down on the east side really far, and he shouts over, he goes, hey, are you going to fucking come down or not? It's like, brilliant. So
I always have mixed feelings on guests who take a lot of time with you. On one hand, if there's no line, hang out, chat for a while. They're fucking as bored as you are. But if it's a monstrous line and everyone there is hoping a chance to meet their hero, meet this, it can be a bit frustrating when you see not even just guests, but some people take the piss. Like, I saw this one girl, she actually brings a book with her, and she asks the guests to write her a story. And it can take like 10 minutes. You're thinking, I've been in this line for 4 fucking hours. And you
I've seen someone who does this, It's like some like massive off like A4 size book, and
so
she
it's
gets
not
them
even
to
like
write,
a little,
and then just
I've seen page. Like,
I've seen someone do this, and it is so. Don't get me wrong, it's a nice thing to have, but when you're, like, you can see like 3 or 4 people in front of you, you can see this girl, she's like, can you write this out? And you can see they really don't want to.
Yeah.
And it's like, for fuck's sake, just get rid of them. But,
it's frustrating. The closest I've ever come to doing that, and I've only done it because there was no one in the line, is I went to a Star Fury event, and for some reason when they printed the program, they printed the photos but no profiles. And so I handed it to them, and the profile was only about the profile space was only about the size of a business card, and she said, should I just sign here? And I went, do you want to just make up something to write there, like your own fantasy? And one of them went, oh god, yes. And she wrote this like fantastically fucking bizarre thing. And then the second one wrote it like a Wikipedia entry. And I remember showing it to their manager, and their manager was howling at it and took a photo and shared it. And then later on, same 100 guest at Heroes Villains, such and such. I've met him a few conventions now. He's not a big character on the show, so he never has a line. And the man has given me like a lap dance, so I think we've like crossed that line of boundaries. And he had the world's dumbest photo available for signing. This thing was hideous. It was like, it made him look so high. It looked like he'd smoked literally everything on the planet at once, and then someone had done a watercolor painting of it. And then he was like, let's get this signed. So I said, dude, just go nuts. And he ended up writing this really amazing story about how we're going to form a cult together. and ride like crocodiles into the distance, and how we will bring world peace through the power of bananas and shit. Honestly, it's a treasured fucking possession. But I wouldn't ask like William Shatner to pull that shit. You know?
If you ask William Shatner to do that, he will tell you
to fuck
one
off.
thing. That's it. He'll say, yeah, just go on.
Yeah, when I got my signature from him, he ruined it. He put his thumb through it. Because he went to push it towards me, and it got stuck. So he put his thumb through it, and he went, "Oh!" And I'm mentally screaming. And then you went, "Huh!" And then did it again. And then I'm mentally screaming more. And then he sighed a third time and pushed it through again. And I was just at this point, I was like, "You absolute bastard!"
Well, at least you've got his thumbprint now. So should he ever be lost or need
Yes, we need his thumbprint. We need to identify it's him. Oh yes, hang on. I've got 3 copies of that here.
Yeah. I have an Enterprise with his thumbprinting gold Sharpie.
Right. I've got a safe Comic Con. I think I got, because I didn't get autographs just for me. I got some autographs for friends as well as Dad as well. I think I met about 7 or 8 different people, and I'll be honest. Compared to some years, most people were really nice. They were very chatty, very friendly. Rose McIver from My Zombie. I know that Josh was quite jealous that I'd met her, but you know that's neither here nor there. She was fantastic. She was very lovely. Pearl Mackie, who was in Doctor Who, she was really nice to talk to. Ray Fisher, Cyborg from Justice League, he was a really nice guy actually. I almost felt bad that I didn't get his autograph myself, but you know it was just nice.
No, it's an expensive hobby.
Yeah, I've got a few signed things, but only because I just don't like queuing for stuff. It's not about I'm a patient person. I just don't feel like I just don't want the queue for stuff like that. You know, if I talk to them, if I bump into somebody, I'll talk to them and stuff. But
this is how they know you're not British.
Yeah. But one thing I did quite like when we were at MCM in Manchester, it was the guy who plays Ezekiel, Carrie Payton, is that his name? He does.
Carrie Payton, because he's also Cyborg in Teen
Titans. Yeah. He did this cool thing, and actually the guy who was in Shield, he was in Agents of Shield, and he's in Black Flag, is it?
Yes, and 100 Zach something? I don't know.
But both of them, they were literally in front of their tables, sitting on them and like engaging with people, and sort of like, it said no pose photographs, but they were sitting there. They were happy enough just to sit there and talk away and do things like that, and I thought that was pretty cool. You know, so they were engaging them all and stuff. So.
The last time I met that actor, he was well pissed. Like, they'd given him access to pints before he came to his meet and greets, and by the time he turned up, he was so fucked. It was great. I remember I said to him, I was like, "Oh, so are there any roles that you dream of being in, or that you've really loved being?" And he was like, "Nah." just like being in stuff. And I was like, well, at least he's honest.
Good answer.
You know?
I've just got to say just one thing from Comic Con, from FCC. The only person I regret meeting was Jason Momoa.
Really?
Now, this is the thing, all right? I will put it this way first, okay? Right. I went. It was mainly to get it for a friend first, but I thought, as I was getting the autograph, I thought, "Do you know what, sod it. I reckon he'll be a nice guy to meet. Let's get his autograph as well." So I've gone in there, and he's got a fairly decent line queue. I was chatting to my mate that I was with, so I wasn't really paying attention to what he was saying to anyone else, but I just thought, okay, you know, the line's going down. Eventually he gets to me. I've got 2 autographs for him to sign. I've got one for myself and one for a friend. So he's signing away. I try to talk to him. He looks up and smiles, doesn't say a word. Doesn't even say, "Oh, you know, thank you for coming in," or, you know, "Hope you're having a good day." No, doesn't say a single word. And do you know what? I went to go and shake his hand, because I thought, yeah, at least give me like a nice firm handshake. You know, you are supposed to be this really cool guy. And do you know what? He literally doesn't. As I've got my hand out for a handshake, he puts his hand as if to fist bump me. Okay, and if that wasn't awkward enough, he's actually trying to give me a fist bump while he's holding a Sharpie.
You should have just grabbed his hand and done that.
I was so tempted. But Joe, I just literally like went, all right, sod it, okay, fist bump, that's fine.
That's
and
a
I picked
shame.
it up, and Joe, what? As I was walking away, I literally went, and afterwards I thought I might have said it a bit too loud. I thought I've just paid a fucking £150 for this.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah. But Joe, what? If I was sitting there, and don't get me wrong, I know it's probably quite boring if you're there all day. You know, you're signing papers, you're handing them back. Some people probably not even do it for themselves. Some people probably do it and they're going to sell them on. You know, I understand that. But this way, if I was being paid £75 per autograph, I would at least say hello, Joe. I'd even fucking snog you.
I completely agree, except less with the snogging. Because at the end of the day, what these people are actors. Acting is literally their job. And,
yeah, but you think they could at least act like they're interested?
Yeah, but would you
exactly.
want them to? Would you want them to though?
Oh yeah,
yeah. I'd want them to at least show some interest.
Right.
I know.
For example,
That's their job. They pretend to be different people all the time.
You don't want to meet. You want to meet the real person. You don't want to meet some person who's acting.
On the downside, I met Hayley Atwell. I've met her 3 times now, and I was so excited. I was like such a big Agent Carter fan. She's such a big feminist icon in that character. I was so excited to meet her, and I'd gone to a lot of effort making a cosplay. I'd managed to source things from the show and everything. Everyone's in lines going, oh, she's going to freak when she sees you. And I'm thinking, oh, this is going to be so exciting. I hope she likes my outfit. I get to the front, and she looks up, looks down, signs, and flicks my photo away. And I just thought,
I have the exact same thing.
Chris Allen says on the comments, most disappointing guest I've ever met, Hayley Atwell.
Knows what I'm talking about. Yeah, they had a very awkward on-stage interaction. We should get Chris sometime.
Who is Chris Allen, by the way? Do you know him, I guess?
Oh, yes. Well, Chris Allen, he currently, not only is he a dear friend of mine, but he is the MC for Manchester, for MCM these days.
Oh, yes, I've seen the guy. They do those videos. They do those videos. The music videos and things. Yes, I have seen him, yeah. I thought I recognised him, yeah. Hey Chris, we'll get you on a podcast. How about it?
Chris is fun, and she was a bit of a bitch there too. And the next 2 times I met her, someone said like, "Oh, she's really tired. She was like out late last night." And we're like, "Yeah, we all know because she was on Twitter at 3 a.m. drunk tweeting, like, bitch, you got a job tomorrow." So the next time I met her, again, lines going down, sign, flick, piss off, and then they were bragging, being like, oh, Hayley Atwell's line, she was meant to sign for another 2 hours, but she's already done. Whereas you've got, like, Brett Dalton and other, like, lesser considered actors. They stayed till, like, 8 o'clock to make sure every person got an interaction, like an autograph, a mini conversation. You know, my respect, they were so tired, but they were just like, I want to shake your hand, I want to look you in the eye, I want to thank you for coming to see me. And, I think that's the bare minimum you can at least ask from someone, is to say, hey, thanks for spending all this fucking money and standing in this long fucking queue for my autograph. At least, like, thank the person.
It seems to me that I've had a few stories from you, John Joe, over time, and there's a few other people as well. And it seems to me that sometimes these massive queues and all this money aren't that rewarding. So why do you do it?
The thing
some people, they're a hero. For some people, you just want to meet them. Like, I would give my left arm to meet Lucy Lawless, like 10 out of 10. But other times, it's I admit I've gotten into collecting posters full of entire casts. So, like, I like the idea of trying to collect all the main cast on a poster. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the times, meeting these people is very rewarding. Sometimes, like, Richard Dean Anderson hit on me. That's a story. Not a great one, but it's a story. It's a fun story. But
yeah,
sometimes have an odd person let you down.
Chris Allen says... Sorry, John Joe, far away.
I was just going to say, I think on my side, it's the same kind of thing. You meet people that you've seen for years, people that you've admired, people that you've enjoyed. I mean, one of the first people that I met at Comic-Con was Tom Baker. Now, Tom Baker is probably a lifelong hero, not just from Doctor Who, but it's just so much of the TV work, so much of I mean, like, I even used to enjoy him when he was on Fort Boyard. I thought he was fantastic on that. You know, it's just like a silly little game show, but, you know, he put his all into it. That these people, some of them, you know, you see the appreciation from. You do see that they love the fan attention. And I will be honest, about 9, if I was put on average, 9 out of 10 of the people I've met, I've been really happy with. I've really enjoyed seeing them. I've really been ecstatic. And, you know, you get the odd ones that are, you know, a little bit grumpy. I mean, one of them I met this year was, you probably won't know by name, Costas Mandalore. He was in the Saw films. He was like the apprentice to Jigsaw. And I went over to him, and you know what? He had no one go and talk to him. He literally, he's got his earphones in, he's like, you know, playing music on his phone. I went over and, you know, I just thought, I had a nice little chat to him. And I just went, can I get a photo? And he's like, at first he was like, oh, do I really have to get up? Fucking thing. But Joe, he got up, he came round, took a snapshot, and you know, it doesn't hurt. It was something quite nice, and yeah, I could see that he probably was thinking, oh yeah, I've come all this way for what? For like a couple of quid now, and you know, I could see that some people obviously do it because you know they might want to go see the fans.
There's also can sometimes be a level of weird guilt about it. Like a couple of MCMs a few years ago, the guy who played, I want to say Apophis, the Scar or something, the kid in the first Stargate movie who then went on to be Goa'uld in the series. He was a guest.
Was he the guy who played in? He played
in like the kid.
But he was he?
Share's brother or something.
He's in something else. Is he transact? Is he in the Crying Games? Is he the girl, the guy, the girl, the transsexual?
Would not be able to tell you. I only know him from Stargate.
Okay.
But I was kind of like having a wander around the convention, and I turn around, and I see this girl sitting behind a desk, and her dress is stunning. And she sees me looking, and she waves at me, and I wave back like this. I want to go tell her how amazing she looks. And I get over there, and I'm halfway through that before I realize she's like the girlfriend of the actor, and I've completely ignored him.
Amazing.
And he looked at me and he went, "Oh, it's like the end of the day. I'm doing like a signature and a photo for only £15." And I went, "Yeah, sure." I mean, no one's here seeing you. It's £15, I suppose. Like, that's all right. I just felt like weirdly bad in that moment. Like, oh, buddy. Yeah. Oh. Also, I was like a good 2 foot higher than him as well. So there was also a weird kind of, yeah, sorry. Oh, you were at Stargate. I like Stargate, so I'll get a photo with you. But yeah, like I have been known to get signatures of opportunity. Like you're walking by, there's no one there. They're having a sale on their signature. You're like, I enjoyed your role in this one thing one time. I thought I'd tell you.
Yeah. Before you carry on, there's like a load of comments, so I just want to kind of go through them because I just realised that for some reason it hasn't been scrolling down, so there's like a lot of people talking and I've been ignoring them. So I'm gonna go through some of them now. What we got here. So yeah, Chris Allen says about the Haley Atwell. I welcomed her on stage, pointed to her to sit down. She thought I was opening my arms for a hug. Most awkward hug ever.
It's great if you see the footage of it too. Oh, because of course this is all filmed.
Kat Clayson, a friend of ours, she says, "Get Boromir on the chat." Now Boromir is my new puppy. He's my new Tibetan Mastiff. He's only 4 weeks old. But I unfortunately do not have him yet. I do not get Boromir for another 4 weeks, another month. So unfortunately I cannot. Then we've got Anthena. I'm going to bastardize your name here. My deepest apologies. Anthena Nobellium?
Nobellium?
Yeah.
I feel Nobellium.
Yeah, Anthena. Yeah, that's a cool name though. Most disappointing guest meet was actually meeting Bernard Cribbins as a 10th Doctor. Sorry, didn't even look up, didn't break stride in signing, sighed and said, "There you go. Who's next?" The guy was outright rude. Like, what's the fucking point?
I find that very disappointing about Cribbins. So you'd think he would be like a fantastic person to meet, someone with that kind of history in TV, just known for like the past 60 years. You think Cribbins be like the guy you go, yeah, Joe, he was brilliant. He was really nice. He was very chatty. He offered to take me to go and see the Wombles. You know, you think you get all that from him.
Yeah. Scott Braidwood says, at Bolton, we get Heather from EastEnders and some guy that was in the background of Babylon 5. Whoopee.
Oh, lucky.
Daniel says, I've only got an autograph from the author of Stig of the Dump. Wow, that's some old school stuff right there, Daniel.
To Chris, commenting that one of the rudest people he's met is Katie Cassidy from Arrow, and 100%, dude. What a bitch.
Which one's Katie Cassidy? Who does she play?
She is Sarah Lance.
Oh, shit,
Black
right.
Canary.
Yeah, Black Canary.
Yeah, Black Canary.
Siren, whichever
Black Siren, yeah.
episode on.
She's weirdly really uncomfortably thin in person. Like, I almost wanted to just feed her. I was like, damn, girl, you don't look well. But I feel confident in saying publicly that I thought she's quite a massive bitch, because not only was she a bitch to me, every person I've ever met who's ever fucking met her was like, what a bitch.
I just... like,
Josh, it was Scara, and it was Alexis Cruz, and he is mini, and I can stick him in my pocket.
I've just had one on my Facebook, like through Messenger. Yeah, my mate Robin's just messaged saying he met Christopher Eccleston at Comic Con on the Sunday.
Yeah.
He said didn't say a word when I came over. Signed my paper. He looked disgusted.
Oh, there was that hilarious...
I asked for my money back.
Right, the thing is, you've got like... Now, we've discussed this before, probably numerous times, because it tends to be a thing every seasonal, so you get these sort of things. But it's like... I don't know, is it us as consumers who are expecting too much from these people? Are they being a bitch? You know, maybe they're having bad days, or, you know, it's just like... I've
got a firm policy of they can get fucked, because you know what? I work in a hellhole, and I work with some of the stupidest fucking people I've met in my goddamn life, and they make my life a hell every day. But do you know what? I smile when I go to work. I'm always polite. Doesn't matter what they do, even when I want to scream, even when one guy today said something that was so wrong that I could have gone for his throat. I was like, I'll treat this professionally, because I'm a professional. I work in a fucking hotel in the middle of nowhere. These people make thousands from these conventions, and they're heroes to some people. Honestly, fucking suck it up. If you've had a bad day, you're an actor, you've had bad days on set. Pretend... Don't ruin some kid's day. Don't ruin someone who's always looked up to you just because, you know, you've got a hangover.
And you suppose
Take
you do
paracetamol, man the fuck up.
And you do get ones who are super cool. Like, I've met some amazing people in my time for Geek Pride, and they've just been really, like, super nice and just really accommodating, and they'll talk away to you, and, you know, it's great, you know.
Some of them are just incredible. Like, one of my favorite was when I met Robert Picardo. He was one of the first guests I've ever met. There was no line for him, and I'm thinking mentally, are these people all blind? This is Robert fucking Picardo. He was in Stargate and Star Trek. Like, to me, that was like top tier. And he was kind of looking at me at a distance. I was in cosplay, so I kind of wandered over, like, are you kind of open? Like, can I come over, or do I come back later? And he's like, no, there's no one here to see me. Want to chat? And I was like, yes, I do. And then about 10 minutes later, I accidentally insulted him, so I kind of just went, yeah, I should leave now.
Why did you accidentally insult him? What did you do?
So, I don't know how, but we were talking about a TV show on at the time, or it just finished airing, called Dead Like Me. And he said that he had tried out to be on the show, and he didn't get into the show. And he told me that, I don't know if anyone doesn't remember Dead Like Me, it was this premise that sometimes when you die, you have to take over the previous Grim Reaper's job until you meet a quota. And there's a different Grim Reaper for each kind of death. There's an accidental death Grim Reaper, a plague death Grim Reaper, stuff like that. And they have to meet a quota before they can move on. So he told me that he went for this for this role, and he was like, oh, what I decided to do was I decided to turn up and look like Gandalf, like this really old wizard kind of character. And I went, well, that's fucking stupid, because all of them with their quotas are all modern day characters. And he just looked at me, and I just kind of thought, yeah, so I should leave now.
Seems to be a bit of a thing now. Anthena says, nicest person I've met was probably Elizabeth Sladen. Sarah Jane Smith in Doctor Who. Rest her soul. Easily the loveliest, most genuine person ever met at a convention, and would happily stay behind and speak and have photos and signings with everyone who wanted them until nobody remained. That's very nice. And Scott Braidwood. Sorry.
Oh no, you go.
Scott Braidwood. I'll speak English. Scott Braidwood says, "I'm the only person who gets more excited about comic books, writers, and artists."
Well, I hope, Scott, that I'll be seeing you at Thought Bubble in September, and if you're not there, I'm going to judge you harshly. So fucking bring it on, bitch. And Chris Allen says Josh Segura from Prometheus, who was Prometheus and Arrow, was amazing. Yeah, the dude was so genuine, so lovely, so excited. And Kirk Avocado, you know.
It's Acavado, but I always call him Avocado. I think I must be slightly dyslexic.
He's got the voice of a mobster and the look of a guy who'll fucking kill you. But he was
that's why I wouldn't call him Avocado to his face. Otherwise,
what else is he in? What else is he in?
He's in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
Yes, he is, isn't he? Yeah, he is.
But he gave his helpers $150 out of his own pocket at the end of the day when packing up as a thank. And I just thought that's class. Well done. He didn't have to do that. No one would ever expect him to do that. But he just counted it out, handed it to him, and went, "Thanks for looking after me this weekend, guys." It sounds like you fucking legend.
Did he do it in did rolls with elastic bands on it to sort of?
Oh yeah, there were. It was a fat wad of cash. I mean, 150 was literally nothing in the grand scheme of things, but it was still a lot more than literally anyone else. And again, maybe it's the American thing. Maybe he thought he had to tip. Which honestly, as someone working in hospitality, I would really love to be tipped more, or at all. Just stay in groups of 10 or more. But yeah, it's really lovely when you see this, because he didn't do it in front of a crowd. I only saw because I've been dicking around at his stall waiting for Josh to finish, and we were just hanging out, and he just kind of on the sly pulled this out and handed it to them, so it wasn't like a publicity stunt or anything like that. So that I can really respect when you see an actor. Make sure he's taking care of the people who are taking care of him as well.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Josh says Scott Bakula. That's Enterprise, dude. That's Archer, is it not?
Also Quantum Leap.
Yes.
No, he's going to be Archer to me. I would really like to meet him one day. Don't know why you mentally undressed him, Josh. I think we need to talk about this later.
Yeah.
If I could say one more that I've really enjoyed meeting, Sean Schemmel, might not be a name you automatically recognise, but he's been the long-time voiceover artist for Goku from Dragon Ball, and he was genuinely the nicest guy. He was just so good to talk to. I went over to him, there was no queue for him, which I thought was quite shocking, so standing there for about 10 minutes talking to him, and he even gave me a free autograph from my sister as well. He went, "Oh, is it you just getting autographs for yourself?" I went, "No, so I'm probably getting one for my sister as well." He went, "Yeah, hang on, I'll do one for her too."
That's nice.
Wow, what a nice guy. And I said, any chance of getting a photo? He went, "You're pushing it now, aren't you, buddy?" He went, "Yeah, of course can. Yeah, go for it."
Yeah,
Joe,
I like that.
Joe, he's taking a photo. Like, we're having a talk, and he's just saying to me, "Oh, so have you always watched Dragon Ball?" I said, "Well, over here, obviously in the UK, I said we got Dragon Ball Z first." I said, "But I didn't watch Dragon Ball until after GT had actually finished." So he went, "Oh man, you missed so much." He said, "But I didn't do much of Dragon Ball because I had a younger voice actor doing the first part of it, so that's why you didn't miss me too much in it." But you know, he was just such a nice guy. He was just very chatty. He was very down to earth with everything. And one of the best bits was just before I went. He said to me, "Look," he said, "you seem like a nice guy. I've done you a favour. can you see if you get a few people to come over to me now? He said, because I've seen about 2 or 3 people in the last hour, and I'm a bit bored. It's like, but you know what? The later on that day, his queue was probably one of the longest. He seemed to be then like back to back with people, and I was like, right, that's good. This is someone who's really nice. This is someone who deserves that attention. So I was like, good on you, Sean.
Nothing makes me happier than an actor who you've met and you think, God, you're fucking brilliant. Like, just not even just as an actor, but just as a person, really kind of have the love shown. Like, Brett Dalton, I adore the dude. He's so much fun. His talks are hilarious. Meeting him in person's wonderful. He goes the extra mile for his fans. And I've insulted him to his face, and he expects it. Like, he's not so up on his high horse that he's like, oh, no one can insult me. We sat down for a meet and greet, and I was like, Brett, I was so excited to see you back on TV the other day. Stock murderer on Elementary. The token murdering husband. God, you've just come so fast in S.H.I.E.L.D. And he was like, for a moment, I thought you were going to say something nice, and then I remembered. I was like, but anyone else you'd kind of say that to, they'd get a bit funny with, but he sees the humor in it.
Yeah, brilliant.
And you like when actors can still keep their head about them and not see them. They can kind of look at and go, yeah, I'm ridiculous. What I do is kind of ridiculous.
His
ridiculous.
She was his girlfriend in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. when I can't remember. Maya Stoyan is her real name. She played one of the sort of agents, and she had like the
Agent 31, weren't she? The one that was impersonating Melinda May.
Yeah, she was. She's super nice. She was really nice. I met her, and she like I messed up. The microphone wasn't working. I got her name wrong, and the whole thing just sort of like. But she like super cool, like really nice, really super nice girl. Though she did ruin the end of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. that series for me because I hadn't seen it.
That was actually her revenge.
Yeah, probably.
To be honest, the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. cast, I can't think of a single bad interaction I've had with any of them. They're pretty fantastic cast. My favorite is obviously Brett Dalton, but Nick Blood.
Right, yeah, he's really nice.
Yeah, not for the normal reasons. I love Nick Blood because the man, I don't know if he's colorblind or actually blind and really faking it, but his fashion sense is atrocious.
I just don't understand why they don't get him back. It's just annoying that they had sort of like.
You know what they did?
Well,
they were trying to do a spin-off.
For like 1 or 2 episodes.
I know they were trying to do a spin-off, and they had him back for a couple of episodes in the last series, but that was it. And it's just like, just bring him back.
Maybe they don't want to bring him back without Bobby, and now obviously that actress is over with the
Orville.
She's in the Orville,
Fox, is it?
To be honest, I think she's probably being used decently in the Orville. Although that being said, I'm probably only thinking that because every once in a while that clip of her as Wonder Woman pops up, and you just think, "Fuck me, this is bad." Like, how did her career recover from this?
That Wonder Woman pilot was terrible. I actually watched it. I think about it must be about 2 or 3 weeks after they said it's not going to series, and I thought, all right, let's just have a look at it. I think it's about 42 minutes the episode altogether. I got to about 10 minutes. I was like, right. I can see what point they said, yeah, we're not putting this to series. I can definitely see that now. Not only does it just look bad, it looks like they've just bought the costumes out of a sex shop. I wasn't going to say sex shop, but I reckon they would have had higher quality. It's like something out of like a tacky catalogue. They've just gone, yeah, you literally iron on the outfit onto your clothes kind of thing. It looked like that. It just looked really bad.
It was not good. It was pretty appalling actually. And when every once in a while someone brings it back up and you're like, honestly, just let it die. Like give everyone involved with that the mercy killing of just forgetting it ever happened.
That's never gonna happen.
On a random note, because you're talking about Sam Beckett from Quantum Leap, which was like one of my favorite series growing up. I loved Quantum Leap so much. Does anybody remember a series called Due South?
No, never heard of it.
Basically, right, it was a series, again, it was on around about the same time, and it was basically about a Canadian Mountie who comes down to New York, I think, and he helps the NYPD solve crimes, but he's sort of like a Sherlock Holmes sort of guy, where he's like, you know, like he's tasting things and looking at stuff, and he's really sort of like, he's super nice, and you know, obviously like the stereotype of a Canadian, and he does this, and there was like 2 series of it, and the first series, do you know, he's in quite few. His partner in it is in a fair few things. You'd know him. He's in Homeland as one of the intelligence guys. But the second guy, who when the first partner leaves in the first series, the second series, he's in he's one of the Cylons who keeps him getting killed, and kind of is in love with Starbuck in Battlestar Galactica.
Giant, really accentuated jaw.
Yeah. He's like a cop in it as well, and
he was in Dollhouse too.
Yeah, I love that series. I love Due South. It was really good, but it was only on for like 2 series or something. And I was very sad when it sort of went. So when all the reruns came on, it's like me and my mate when we were in university. We come home, it's like, dude, Due South's going to be on. Because Fox had like these reruns, so Due South would be on, and then you'd have like that Tour Duty, which is like a war, which was like a Vietnam War sort of kind of series on afterwards, and it's like, yes, Due South, Tour Duty, amazing.
Yeah, no. What you were saying about like the Sherlock theme just made me kind of like have like PTSD flashbacks again of that goddamn Outpost I'm watching. They have this character in it who, I don't know what he has, but it's meant to be some obvious mental condition, and whatever it is pretty insulting to somebody. Don't know who, but somebody. And he's the token, he's socially awkward, but he's brilliant at everything, and on top of being a brewer, he's also a scientist, and he's also this, and he's also that. And every time they have him thinking about anything, they play like the stereotypical Sherlock's thinking something theme, and it makes me want to smash my screen every time. No, you don't. You haven't earned Sherlock music. This has got a long-standing tradition of at least semi-competent acting, not some dude who's licking some blood from a dude who's a zombie and being like, blood, fuck off.
Seems to be a fair few people who actually know Due South. We've actually got 2 people on Twitch who said, yeah, the Mountie, and then we've got a fair few people on Facebook. Josh says Diefenbaker, that was the name of the dog, Diefenbaker, yes, and it was Seattle, not New York. Yeah, Callum Keith.
You've been told.
Yeah, Seattle Monkeys. But yeah, love that series. Brilliant. If you ever get the chance to watch it, it's on a rerun or something. Watch it. It's amazing. Like it's just the whole dynamic. He's a super nice sort of like, you know, he's a Mountie and he wants to do things like properly and stuff. And he keeps on seeing his dead dad. You know, it's like this ghost of his dead dad in a Mountie outfit. And it's amazing. Such a good series.
So is he basically just like a nice Sherlock Holmes?
Yeah, it basically is like a Sherlock Holmes.
Where's the fun in that?
I know, but it's just sort of, it's good because he's like, one of the episodes I remember is he's sort of he's going in the subway or something, and this bum asks him, can he borrow some money and he'll pay him back? And he's like, yeah, sure, no problem, here it is. And his partner's like, why are you doing that? You're never going to get that money back. And at the end of the episode, they're walking along the street, and the guy comes up to him and says, oh, hey, man, here's your money back. And then he just looks at him, and it's just like, Due South, Due South. I was like, yes, brilliant, love it.
Today, kids, we've learned that to not make assumptions about the poor.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Like
apparently, the poor, who on a regular basis, if you listen to our sister podcast, Pitch Please, whenever they can actually record the thing properly, idiots, perpetually always taking the piss out of yours truly, saying that I'm like, I'm the super rich tough guy who like.
No, it's that you're Scrooge McDuck.
Scrooge McDuck, and it's just like, no, I'm not. But yeah.
Yeah, you are.
No, I'd say you're more like a Smaug than a The Scrooge McDuck.
I'm not a smug. I don't have that much money. I just spend my money. I don't drink. I don't do drugs. Well, I do drink a bit, but I don't drink very often. I don't do drugs. I don't smoke.
I was going for a second there.
I spend all my money on toys. That's what it is. When I get money together, I don't buy anything else.
You're not swimming in gold coins. You're swimming in action figures. That's what it is.
To be fair, I kind of get you on that, because I can at any one point be like, man, I'm so poor and I need to like save money. And on the other hand, I'm like, have you seen that new 5-star Funko Pop line?
Yeah.
They've got this new Nightmare Before Christmas 25th anniversary, and they've got this really adorable Oogie Boogie Pop. Because all I'm saying is bitches pre-ordered it.
Yeah, it's just like
Also, I'm really poor.
I have credit cards up the yazoo, you know. And I've just bought myself a bloody. Well, I haven't put the full amount of money down, but my Tibetan Mastiff's going to cost $1,500. Oh, expensive dogs, but yeah. So I'm splitting that. I'm splitting that with the missus. She's.
I did see on the replica prop forum on Facebook the other day, some guy had done a fantastic display of all of his Avengers related prop memorabilia. And I was looking at that, being like, I really like how he's displayed all that, and immediately went online and started trying to like find something similar, and I'm like, £500, I'll put it in my basket. Why? I'm so fucking broke. But the idea of being able to like display my Captain America shield properly, worth it.
Yeah, I'm I've got
moving house is a literal hell for me.
Well, I've got to sell too. We've got to sell my house. Well, it's sold at my girlfriend's house, and then buy another house and get all the gumph that goes around it. And it's just like, basically, I'm meant to be out of this house by the end of the month, which isn't going to happen because we just haven't had everything through. We've got sofas turning up in mid-September, which is unlikely. You know, I don't know where they're going to go if we don't have a house. And then we've got a puppy turning up, so we're going to have basically. I don't know, if I have to move out of here, we're all going to have to move in with my girlfriend. So it'll basically be my 2 cats, my new dog, 2 massive sofas, which are just going to, I don't know where they're going to go, into this small terraced sort of ex-council house in Marple. It's going to be carnage. Yeah. It's going to be pure carnage.
I've got to move house again shortly, and I'm kind of doing that thing at the moment where I'm looking around my room being like, okay, what can I pack that's non-essential so that when it comes time for the big push of packing, I won't be as stressed. And I'm looking at everything. I'm like, in my mind, everything's essential. I'm like, I have no need to use my lightsaber anytime in the next 6 months. I know this. On the other hand, I really like being able to play with my lightsaber whenever I want to. Not a euphemism.
That was exactly where I went to right there.
Yep. But like, you know, like everyone's so... Because I was telling the story the other day. I had this moment about 4 or 5 years ago where I had this sudden realization of, oh my god, I'm an adult and I can buy a lightsaber. Holy fuck! Like no one can stop me anymore. I've got like an income. I could buy one of these bastards. It was like the most exciting moment in my life. Like most people say they realize they're an adult when they can eat like a whole cake and no one can stop them. But for me, it was the holy shit, I can buy a lightsaber.
Yeah.
And the only thing that had been holding me back mentally in Australia, whenever they sold them, they sold like ones with glass blades that were only purely for decoration. Right. And I was like, if I'm going to own a lightsaber, I'm going to want to swing it around randomly, you know, and I want it to make the noises. And I want it to make pew 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 when it like deflects. You know, I want to feel like I'm 5, swinging a stick around again. Is what I'm saying, and I'm willing to pay out the asshole for the privilege. Anyway, my lightsaber was £700, but it turns 3 different colors, makes all of the noises, and is dope as shit.
Yeah, I got I
paid a lot for mine.
I got the Well, I can outdo you both with a well, I bought 4 lightsabers, and they are adaptable. They're from Saberforge, and they're adaptable lightsabers. So basically, it cost me about $3,000. But it's just like, Yeah,
Yeah, I think mine's Saber Forge too, so it changes its blade color as you twist your wrist.
Yeah, so you've got basically this one. You literally, I'm not sure. I've got one over there, but I will knock things over if I go and try and pick it up. But basically, I got two ones with red blades and different. Like you can basically change every part of it. So you can change the pommel, you can change the hilt, you can change the handle, you can change the blade, you can change the sound, you can change everything in it. It's all interchangeable. So you can make. So I got 4 of them. So you can make different ones. You can make them into double-sided lightsabers. You can make them into
That's
sort
pretty
of
cool.
Yeah, and they're pretty awesome. Now I've got one which I use for my first ever cosplay I made. I made my Crimson Empire sort of stormtrooper armor, and I've got it as a staff. So it's a lightsaber staff. So I've basically got like as a double-sided lightsaber, and it's like this big, massive black one, and it looks epic. And then you've got the red sort of kind of lightsaber thing coming out of it. Amazing. Love those lightsabers. So
Jojo,
cool.
your 2 lightsabers, Jojo, are they for particular characters or just random ones? Because like mine's the Mara Jade one.
Yeah, the first one I bought was the Luke Skywalker one from Episode 6, so it's the green bladed one, and the other one I've got is the Kylo Ren cross saber, which I really. When I saw this a couple of years ago, I'm in an hour and everything. I was like, right. I looked at the cost. I was like, okay, £200. I was like, okay. I really like the look of it. I thought, okay, do I treat myself? And the guy went that if you want it, you can have it for 160. I'll knock 40 quid off now. I went, well, what's wrong with
bargain.
it? Yeah, I went, what's wrong with it? He went, no, nothing's wrong with it. He just went, I've just been selling it. He went, you've bought stuff off me before, so if you want it, go for it. I was and my friend Claire was with me, and she just went, look, you might not see it again, just get it now. And I was like, damn you, why did you convince me? As if I needed much convincing anyway. I was like, I will take it.
At conventions, I'm like, if you want me to stop you from spending, I will do the exact opposite of that. I'm like, what, you definitely need to own that. I was at a convention recently, and I saw this. I collect the Bishojo collection of models. And I've been eyeing up Squirrel Girl for some time, and this guy was like, "Oh, if you get Squirrel Girl, I'll throw in all this other stuff." And mentally, I'm thinking, "Don't do it, whore. You've got credit card bills." And bigger part of me went, "So I'll take that, and then I'll take." And walked away with like £200 worth of stuff, and I'm like, "That guy saw me coming a mile away."
Oh, I'm the same man.
That Bishojo is absolutely gorgeous, and
this year.
Actually goes up in value, Bishojo range, which is nice. So if I ever get desperate and have to sell,
I am so bad when it comes to sort of stuff like people seeing me coming. I'm just like, I go into Games Workshop or something, and the guy's like, cha-ching.
You're like, right,
dude. You should totally see this. I'm not buying anything today. Yeah, man, it's fine. You know, you don't have to buy anything. But look at this; it's really cool.
This is why we think you're Scrooge. This is why we think it's Scrooge McDuck. You just walk in, they go, "Oh, yeah, he's coming to buy some more." Here we are.
I can't. It's my crack. It's like plastic crack. Can't help it.
Back in Australia, I went into a shop to buy a Doctor Who DVD. My friend was working there, and he went, "Hey, Laura," and I was like, "What?" He's like, "Do you want to buy anything else?" I'm like, "I probably shouldn't." And he's like, "What about a sonic screwdriver that's an actual functional screwdriver?" I was like, yeah, I'll take that too. That's fucking awesome. And to this day, I still use it to build like all of my furniture. No regrets. But they actually don't see me coming at conventions often because most stall holders have a bias against cosplayers, because generally cosplayers don't spend a lot of money because they're either poor from making their cosplays, or because they're getting their photos taken, or because, you know, you might be carrying a prop and it's kind of a ball ache. What are you going to do with the stuff you buy? So normally what I'll do is I'll go up to a stall and I'll be like, honestly, I know you hear this all the time and you're not going to believe me, but at 5 o'clock today, I go get changed out of my costume, or I just take off parts of it, refuse to do photos anymore, and just walk around and fucking shop. And I am coming back for that goddamn Wonder Woman print because it is stunning. And the girl looked at me like, "No, you're not." "Oh yeah, bitch, I was back." And I was like, "And I'll take the Catwoman, and I'll take the Thor," and just like throwing money at them. And I'm like, and mentally, don't do it. But actually, so much. Like I subscribe to the Eagle Moss Star Trek ship collection. I have like 150 starships.
Amazing.
I could stop. I should stop. It's like at least $4 or $5 grand I've spent on these fucking things the other day.
Do you know collecting stuff like hoarding things like it's like a mental disability. There is saying
I'm even like that when I play games. Like even in game, I'm an in-game hoarder as well. Like if I can't just have one item, I've got to have 200 of the item. Do you want to trade in some of your?
Never start collectible card games. I just got into Warhammer Age of Sigmar Champions, and it's like a Magic the Gathering sort of collectible card game type thing, and I'm just blasting it. It's got to the point where I'm just like, oh no, this is going to cost me so much money.
I grew up in a comic book store. My first book I ever read was a Silver Surfer comic, and my father was the man to import Magic the Gathering to Australia and open the Australia's first collector card shop.
Wow.
I've been down that pit. I've suffered. I've been there. I've still got a stack of fucking Magic the Gathering cards and Yu-Gi-Oh cards and Pokemon cards. Like one day they'll ever actually be worth something. Like, it's actually a Yu-Gi-Oh stand at MCM Manchester, and I was walking past, and they must have seen me looking at them kind of like, the fuck is this? And they were like, have you heard of Yu-Gi-Oh? And I was like, oh yeah, I fucking heard of Yu-Gi-Oh. I just want to... Are you still a thing? Like, do people still play this?
Yeah.
And buy it?
It seems to be quite busy. They've always got a big stand every time.
It's a monstrous stand. It was huge. And he was like, honestly, the cards still sell really well, and it's a really big thing still. And I was like, fuck me, really? And I pulled out a bunch of my like old spare cards the other day, not like the good shit. And I was like, maybe I've got some hidden money here. Now they're all worth 20p. I was lied to, and I'm taking it up at the next convention.
Amazing.
Bastards.
Steph Turpent?
Hi, Steph.
Steph Turpent says, I can stop anytime I want. Sure. It's true, man.
Yeah,
it's just like, yeah, man, I can stop at any time. You know, anytime. Yeah.
Like,
and then we got on Twitch, Evil Cat Lord says, you are the Geek Pride's version of Bruce Wayne. I was like, I wish.
Right.
I wish.
No. Let's be honest. It's going to be more of a Tony Stark thing. Bruce Wayne like buys things for show. Tony Stark is more of the I bought something because I thought it was fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Like I was in an airport coming back from the Star Trek convention, and I was like, okay, you've just spent like so much money on Star Trek. So much. Do not spend. You can buy food. That's what you can get. You can buy food. Ooh, is that a giant novelty-sized Tic Tac? So I ended up with a Tic Tac box the size of a very large hardcover book, filled with 72 tiny Tic Tac packs, which each have 7 Tic Tacs each. Why? I don't know. It's so fucking pointless.
But do you know what? I think ever since I became an adult and my geekdom has just grown, I know, it's shocking, ain't it? But I always seen that, and I look at things, and I think I mentally debate it with myself for hours. I go, right, can I buy this? Okay, if I buy this, do I then now have to keep so much money back for bills? Do I have to keep all this money back? But can I maybe then spread that over to next month so I can actually treat myself to this? And it does get really bad.
It's all about credit. It's all about credit cards. That money doesn't exist.
I try to avoid credit cards.
Credit cards. That money doesn't exist. It's like free money, isn't it?
Yeah, till the bailiffs come knocking. Yeah, you know, it's all good. But this year I bought, because I last few years, without fail, I've bought myself swords, and I do love my sword collection. Now this year I thought I'd go a little bit different.
And by swords you mean penises?
Yes, I've bought a load of penises, yes. So last year I bought Michonne's sword from The Walking Dead. The year before I obviously got my Kylo Ren lightsaber, and then before that I got Raiden's sword from Metal Gear Solid 4. I've got Cloud's sword from Final Fantasy. There is quite a variation.
Yeah, I've gotten more into my props recently, collecting props. Like the 2 props that I would really like to own next. I'd like to own the cricket gun from Men in Black, that tiny little fucking thing. Yeah. I'd like to own that, and I'd like to own a Heller helmet. Steph, who was in the chat, hey babe, she made absolutely stunning one for a convention, and every time she wears it, I like follow her around like some kind of psychopath, just being like, but it's so pretty, can I touch it, but it's so pretty, can I keep it? I know it won't fit on my head because I've got a big head and you've got a smaller head, but can I have it, please make me one? Just like I get increasingly more like crazy about it, and I think one day you're going to break and you're going to give me a Hella helmet, please.
Right. All right. Okay, guys. It has been like an hour and a half now. We're
because we're having fun.
Yeah, I know. That's brilliant. I'm all good. But, Matt's meant to be packing. Matt's not going to be packing.
We know Matt's not doing that at all.
Matt's not going to be packing. But so we're gonna have to probably cut it off around about here now, because we could probably go on for another half an hour. We're not going to turn into a Joe Rogan podcast, which goes on for like 2.5, 3 hours. Maybe we'll have a prolonged one at some point when we get a few more people on. But yes.
Like I think we should definitely get Chris on sometime, because Chris also, I believe, has a radio show. So he might be good at actually keeping some of us in line when it comes to tangents.
Yes, yeah, we're all about the tangents. We used to have a like a schedule on what we did. So we all talked about something new. Then we had a show and tell. And Mike had this thing called Geek Pride Show and Tell. And then you had a thing at the end called Slanderous Lies. And we basically just made up a lie about somebody. Just random lie about somebody. And that's the old Geek Pride cast when we were
new. To take it back to how we opened the podcast and tied up, I made up a lie about Australians and Australian slang. And it's that we call shopping trolleys shollies. And the reason I made this lie up is because I once accidentally called one a sholly and then had a genuine moment of not being sure if that was a real Australian thing or not, because it sounds like something we'd say. And then I just decided to see if I couldn't get other people saying it so it could get back to an Australian. They're like, oh, do you want me to get you a sholly, mate? And the Australians just go like, the fuck? Because
bullfrogs, you say? I would have called them chuzbuzzers.
Like, it's the Australian pastime is making up shit to tell people about Australia. And then, like, honestly, you can go into a bar and you're Australian and you can make up a lie and say it very loudly in the bar. 5 random people you've never met before who are all Australian will back you up in an instant. They've never fucking met you, but they're like, it's true, mate. And you're just like, honestly, it's the national pastime. We ride kangaroos to work.
Wow.
Oh, I know that already.
Yeah, mate. I didn't cuddle with a teddy bear. I cuddled with a koala. That's why I've got chlamydia.
And all vehicles are called utes.
All vehicles are called utes, except for those Japanese imports, but no one likes them. Fucking Mitsubishi. Which is actually something an Australian would say. But it's the national part. We actually had a national joke called the what was it called? We photoshopped a koala to have fangs and shit, and we called it drop bears, right? So we told tourists when they came to Australia, and we made up, there was like an official government page warning about drop bears, that if you went walking in our outback, they would drop down on top of you and savage you. Which sounds like something that would happen in Australia, if we're entirely honest. But then half the joke was getting them to believe that. The rest of the joke was getting them to believe whatever remedy you could come up with to get rid of them. Oh, you put Vegemite behind your ears, mate. Can't stand the smell. Yeah. So make sure before you go out every day, Vegemite behind the ears.
Vegemite, or Marmite as we call it.
Oh, fuck you.
Marmite, which is horrible stuff. I hate Marmite.
It is horrible stuff. Vegemite is superior. Yeah. But yeah, you would tell that to people. You'd be like, oh, honestly, mate, they just can't stand the smell of urine. So if you maybe like dip your shoe in a bit of piss, you'd see what you could get away with. And it was always Americans who fell for it. It was amazing. But now the internet's much more wide known. Like, people can Google that and be like, hey, wait a minute. But for a good time there in the 90s, cause I fucked with so many exchange students.
Right. Okay.
Sorry.
We're gonna end it. We're gonna end it here. So thank you very much. It's actually been a very busy podcast today, which is good. Good to see busy. To add,
join us all next time.
Yeah. To add to the busyness, and sort of the increase, because obviously we're going to try and do more podcasts and things, and we have two. We've got the Geek Pride cast, and we've got Pitch Please, which is our sister podcast. I have a boatload of stuff like from Hasbro and things like that, things that they've given us to give away and stuff we haven't had time to give away, or Matt's not distracted or something like that. So we've got a load of cool stuff, and I'm moving house soon, so I need to get rid of it all. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to sort something out where if you follow the podcast, subscribe to the podcast on like iTunes or Spotify or whatever, Google Play, whatever you have, if you subscribe to it and you leave us a nice review and stuff, you can get some free shit. So what we'll do is, like, maybe at the end of the week and stuff, every week we'll kind of go, right, you can have some of this free stuff, and by the time Matt's moved out of his house, he'll have got rid of all the cool stuff. So we've got like Spider-Man Homecoming toys, and we've got like Tobin's Spirit Guide from Ghostbusters.
So what we're willing to say here, guys, is that we will pay you to like us.
Pretty much, yeah. We will give you free shit to like us, and give us nice
tell
reviews.
Your friends, share our stuff.
Yeah,
go on
share our stuff.
website.
Pretty much, we are whoring ourselves out, and you can have toys for likes. For likes,
Speaking though of pouring ourselves out, we are still running the Arrowcast poster giveaway raffle, and nobody is buying tickets. This thing has got £450 worth of signatures on it, and you can get a raffle ticket for a fucking $5, guys. If you haven't got a ticket already, make someone else buy a ticket. Bully them. Social pressure. I don't give a shit. I want to sell these tickets, and I want to give someone this, and money goes to charity.
It's all for charity.
It all goes to cancer research.
It's $5 nothing.
So
come on, people.
What I'm saying is, if you don't buy a ticket, you're going to hell.
Yeah, pretty much.
Simple as that.
Pretty much.
That's why I bought two.
Yeah, I bought a few as well. I wouldn't mind that in my man cave. So
I haven't bought one because, as the person running the raffle, think it might look a little dodgy. If I'm entirely
That's why if your name comes out, you take it out, you go, right, let's go to the next person.
Except because it's an automatic system, it doesn't work like that. So I'm like, So instead, considering I'm the one who I went around and I bullied and cajoled as many actors into signing this as possible, that's my contribution. I'm still going to hell, but that's my contribution. But anyway, yes, please share this. We will post the link to it later on. Money goes to a good cause. You get a pretty swanky fucking good thing. Looks great on the poster. Comes in a... we can even put it in a frame. We'll put it in a fucking frame. We post it to you for free. Do not worry.
Yep, cool. Sounds good to me.
All that shit.
Cool. Right. Well, thank you very much, everybody. Thank you to everybody who's been chatting away to us on Twitch and on Facebook. Really appreciate that. Please join us next time. Thank you to Laura Benson.
Yo.
And thank you to John Joe Cosgrove.
Yo.
I've been Matt Geary, and good night, all. Thanks a lot.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye. Boop. Oh. And I've pressed the wrong button now, and things have gone wrong. So this is not going to end the way it should.
It was nice to actually see some more people getting involved.